kind of talk about some of those broader issues that are out there in terms of planning and development, and then to allow you an opportunity, number one, to share what it is, what you like to see. And you also have the survey there as well, so you can feel free to add additional comments. Like I said, we'll post the PowerPoint, and we do have the survey online, so that all will go out tomorrow. So any of your friends that live in the 7th Ward or the 8th Ward, or who are interested in what's going on over here, send it to them so that we can get all that input, because I'm a data person, and I know that numbers don't lie. And so it's probably the only thing that doesn't lie is numbers. So numbers don't lie. So we want to make sure we're collecting good data. So as we move into this next phase, we're coming to the table with some more detailed information, and we're showing what the community wants. So I don't know. Are there just any? It's really just open. Any questions?
Quick question. These two maps are available online?
They are not, but we could put them online. They're not online now. I had them specially made for the meeting, but we can get them online. The city-owned properties, if I'm correct, they're in red, right? I can't see that far back.
Red.
Yeah, the city-owned properties are in red. We do have the list of. Let me be clear. It's the addresses of the private property that is vacant or along 79th Street. But the city-owned properties are in red.
I've lived in South Shore about 7 years off and on. I've heard about survivability and profitability. Very expensive terms. I'm just the guy that gets up and goes to work every day. I like to walk around the neighborhood and engage with neighbors. And one of the things I think that's kind of deteriorated over the years, and I'm looking back, a long time, is the storefronts, just how they look. So is there any capital improvement, plans happening just to make folks feel comfortable and confident about shopping in their neighborhood? And if they have family come in town, maybe they want to walk down those business corridors. So is there something like that happening that we can maybe inform folks about?
So, there, capital improvement wise, from when you use that, that's a kind of a big term there for like improving storefronts. But what we are planning to do, and I don't know, Allison is here, she's a program manager for the SSA. We are looking at some different options. I know you've seen some things that have happened in Hyde Park where you see the stores wrapped and things like that. We are looking at options. Part of that comes, there's funding required for that. And like I said, we just got a new service provider who has been doing a lot of good things on the Halstead corridor in the Roseland area. So we know that they're prepared to address a lot of those issues. And the other thing is getting these property owners to take better care of their property. I'm big on enforcement. We go, our protocol in the office is we will go and talk to you. Your property's not clean. If we have to come back, we're going to write you a ticket. That is how we operate in my office, because I don't want to live next door to a bad neighbor or a bad business. That's what it is at the end of the day. So it's really about the enforcement component as well, and getting these property owners to be accountable. When we talk about vacant lots, that's one of the issues. We have a vacant lot, around the city, and at the end of the day, I'm going to call a private contractor that I know who may do some in-kind work and go get it clean. But I'm not going to keep cleaning up a private property owner's property with city money. I'm not. It's not fair. It's not fair to us as taxpayers, period. So enforcement is one kind of a bigger piece.
There's a range of really creative things other corridors have done, other special service areas have done, whether it's a short-term artwork in these spaces to actually working with property owners to do pop-up galleries or pop-up retailers, just to let people test the market before they make a huge investment in a couple-year-long lease. So there are things to start to think about and ideas that you guys could even generate. There are ideas of you've got the roll-up security bars, and maybe you can paint them in a really beautiful way that makes them less or more attractive at night when they're down. So lots of great things to pull from in terms of what others have done.
And SSA 49 actually does have a facade enhancement program. This year for 2015, we'll be able to help a total of 5 businesses. The maximum amount that we'll be able to lend is $5,000, and it actually is going to be 100% of the cost. So the business owner doesn't have to match any funds. We'll be giving out $5,000 to at least 5 businesses this year. And of course, we're going to try to increase it in the 2016 budget to keep it going. But those are some of the things that SSA 49 actually participates partnered with them, and we did do some of the pop-up art shows, and we hung art in vacant storefronts to increase positive foot traffic, get people down here. South Shore Chamber even did trolley stores and things of that nature. So we want to continue those programs, even though we've changed the service provider. Pastor Enquay, we've discussed some of the art initiatives that we're going to do in 2015, like silk screening some of those vacant storefronts to put beautiful images that reflect South Shore. So those are some of the ideas that we're doing, but for sure we will be doing a facade enhancement program this year where we're able to help at least 5 businesses. Yes.
Where is that, like, what's the boundary on it?
The boundaries of SSA 49 are South Exchange, 71st Street to 79th Street, 75th Street, Paxton to the lake, and then 79th Street, Paxton to the lake.
Are there SPIF grants associated with any of the TIFs?
There is SPIF. SPIF is associated with the TIF on 79th Street. And let me let everybody know how that works. It's a grant program that you don't have to pay back, but you get reimbursed. So I have one business on 79th Street right now that received a SPIF grant. It's the True Value, if any of you are familiar. That's why their walls are boarded up. But they did receive a SPIF grant, and they were very nervous about it just because, you know, city takes a long time to pay people back. They were very nervous because, you know, they took out a loan to access that grant. Now, the grant it doesn't have to be paid back. It is a reimbursement, but you do have to put up the money first. So I think a lot of people don't understand that with the SPIF program. So this young lady, my neighbor, and then Miss Brown and Mr. Conley.
Okay, I got like 2 questions. First thing is, like about safety, for businesses, especially like that little area, the service areas, from 76 to 79. And then I wanted to ask I guess any of the developers, you were saying that a True Value, they took out a loan, right? And then they were able to access the TIF money, right? So now would that be like, you know, something that they would work with as well, or what?
I guess that's more of a question for Johnny. Like, or do you give out loans like that when there's a reimbursable grant associated with it?
Absolutely. We would give it out. It would be considered a equipment loan, and that's what we would give it out.
So to answer your first question, so the SSA, a part of what is budgeted with the SSA is the security. And so again, we were without a service provider for literally like 2.5 months while we were working closely with Far South. The contracts are yearly, and so contract with the service provider as well as with all of the vendors that we work with. So we didn't have a contract. We didn't have anybody the service provider is like the fiscal agent. So we didn't have anybody who could enter the contract with any of our vendors. So now that we have a service provider on board, those things are going to be in place. Far South has done extreme things on Halsted, working closely with the security, so we expect them to do the same things over here. Ms. Brown?
Is there a way when you talk about bringing families and bringing homes, and, I mean, you know, back to the community, what do you do about properties that are owned and boarded, and these owners are not coming back to the community? What do you do when they're actually owned? You know, when you look online, you find that these properties are owned by people.
So, very similar effort that we're doing right now in Shadow, and part of it is you have to map the community, what are the troubled properties, which properties have irresponsible owners, maybe they're there, maybe they're absentee owners, but identifying them, and then developing a strategy to go after them. So it's a community effort. You can form a committee as part of the corridor. That the responsibility of that committee is to track what's going on with these problem properties. You start with cordial letters of, hey, your property is an issue. Are you going to do something about it? If there's no response, then you escalate it. You start together with the alderman's office and the department of building to go after that owner, and eventually that owner can lose their property. I mean, we're doing that in Chatham, and it's a proven formula. It's just a matter of organizing and tracking it. And once you go after that way, you together with the whole global effort, you will get results.
There's a part two to that. If the bank owns it and foreclose sure that everything's okay. So, find out who owns the property. If it's not an owner, if the bank owns it, we wanna make sure it's okay. And for a lot of reasons, safety, it's a lot of reasons that we wanna take responsibility for that property. So if we own it, call me up, I'll make sure it gets done.
Can I go ahead first? There's also the term of zombie properties, which is, it's not even a bank owned or a foreclosure, that's where there's liens and all kinds of issues. So now the Cook County Land Bank is actually revving out to be able to assist in that. So again, there's a lot of options at the table now. It's just aggressively, well, I don't know if aggressively, but working at it and going at it systematically.
Okay, so I know there are a couple of questions, and I've seen everybody, but I'm gonna go in order. I saw Mr. Conley, I saw Lavina, I saw Mr. King, I saw this young man over here. Okay, I see Tequila, and I see you in the red. Okay. Y'all, everybody saw what's in the video. Oh, and Ja, I'm sorry, Ja, okay.
Right.
All right, so, Mr. Conley.
Earlier you mentioned a number about $400 million.
Can you stand up?
Certainly. You mentioned a number earlier of about $400 million in the seventh ward. Do we have any information regarding how much money is in a half-mile circumference of 79th Street in order to keep those businesses that come here viable relative to the discretionary income that exists, maybe even some fixed committed income as well? I'm on 95th Street, so I'm working with these people over here. I'm on 93rd working with them, keeping 95th Street open. So I may not come down to 79th Street. So it's kind of important to know what's in the immediate surrounding area for businesses to continue to stay viable. Otherwise, the dollars are not going to be here to keep them afloat. And that's why you're going to have to look at who your residents are and their capital.
So we do have, there are a number of census tracts around the area. We don't have that exact number. And let me clarify when I say what the area is that's calculated that looks at 400 million. Because if you looked at the 7th ward in its entirety, it's bigger than that. But if you look at the majority of the 7th ward, the city has do you know how many areas there are? How many sub-market retail areas? 7? So there are 7 sub-market retail areas in the city. The area that we are contained in mostly, a little bit of the northern is out, a little bit of like really southeast part is out. The majority of our ward is contained in the Stony Island sub-market. And the city did a retail analysis. And they went in and looked at, where there were gaps in certain things in these retail markets. And so that's the $400 million is that area. But I take that suggestion to be a part of what we do when we start looking at these numbers again is looking at a radius around 79th Street, because that clarifies the area a little bit more and the potential in that area a little bit more. Who got to say next? This is John.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as far as the things that concern me, what guidelines that you have in place to give help people who want to have grant or business plans so that they can open up businesses,
Right.
in the area. That would really, the small ones get a chance
Right.
to do it.
My bank said it's number 3 in the Midwest to open up small sole prop as far as small business accounts. And I gotta use Jimmy. Jimmy came in my office with $1 in a dream.
And Jimmy's from Ujama. He's from Ujama Construction, by the way.
He came into my office with $1 in a dream, and now he's building all types of buildings in the area. So yes, we do help develop the small business owner, and Jimmy is definitely a testament to that. As far as sole prop to